Hi, my name is Tommy Kelly. Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is Q&A Friday. Still got this sore throat, so I'll try and get through as many questions as I can. If I don't get through this one, I'll do a second part. But the first question is from Abby Floyd. What is your plan if you know you won't be able to see your therapist, dietitian, treatment team for a longer period of time than when you used to? Is it more difficult for you if this happens, and how do you make sure you're still being supported? Well, yeah, basically if I don't see my therapist and dietitian for a longer period of time, obviously you worry about the eating disorder creeping in, because your eating disorder, you start to become kind of lackadaisical in things. You basically take your eye off the ball. You think, oh, I don't need to eat as much this week and things like that because I'm not seeing my dietitian. I may not need to gain as much, or I can kind of slacks a bit my weight. That's a worry that I have done in the past, but my wife really supports me well. She makes sure I'm sticking to my diet plan consistently. I'm eating by the clock. If she sees we're out or something and I've missed a meal, she'll say to me, right, we need to stop off somewhere and get something to eat. So my wife keeps on top of me really, really well. And that's one way that I'm really, really supported thoroughly by my wife, and I can't thank her enough for that. She's a lovely, lovely person, and she means the world to me, my wife, and she's my rock. I just thank the Lord that they gave me her. She deserves angel wings for putting up with me. So thanks very much for that, Abby. That's a really, really good question. The next question from, just bear with me and I'll just get through this. The next question is from Vegan Scrumpy. She said she would like to ask, what are my favourite words of wisdom for life, and how do you come by these words? Well, I've actually got them written down here, and I'll let you see them. One of the ones is a poem that my mum gave me, and she gave me years ago before she passed, and she always told me if I followed this by life that I'd be doing well as a man. It's called If, and I'll read it out to you. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired of waiting, or being lied about and not dealing lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look so good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumphs and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted to knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you have gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one pitch and toss and lose, and then start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your losses, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long and they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them hold on, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose your common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men can count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance, run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. And that absolutely spells out exactly what life's all about. It means, like I say, that I follow that consistently by life. I've also got a few more things that I like. We are living creators. We have the power to change the negative aspects that cause us pain and anxiety. So dream big, create greatness, and bring joy into your life. And another one, life is like a jigsaw. Once we fit the pieces together, we're all able to see the full picture. We're all cogs in the wheel of life. Individually we have a part to play, and there are no greater or lesser persons. When the sum of all parts work in harmony, the world will exist in love and peace. And another one I like is live the life you love the life you live. And I just feel that's something we should all follow. Be the best person you can every single day. Wake up, do random acts of kindness for everybody. Kindness costs nothing, and spread the word of the Lord. Thanks very much for that. I really, really appreciate that one. Abby Floyd asks as well, does being sick trigger your eating disorder? Well, not so much things like illness and flu and things, but I really feel if I get a vomiting illness, it can actually trigger my bulimia side of my eating disorder, and I start to want to make myself sick. So I really, the minute I feel sick now, I make sure I'm not vomit at all, because I know it can trigger that eating disorder. Your eating disorder latches onto things like this, and that is something that really, really worries me. So thanks very much for that. That's a really good question as well. Natasha Grace asks, what has been the biggest turning point so far in your recovery? Well, the biggest turning point so far in my recovery is basically when I went vegan, and obviously when my last admission, when my father passed away. For some reason, when I went into hospital, I started to speak out a lot more. I spoke at Parliament for Eating Disorder Awareness Week. I do a lot for the eating disorder charities here, and basically coming online here and speaking with all yous and seeing that I'm actually helping other people, that has been the biggest recovery. My vegan lifestyle, knowing what I'm doing for other people, is not only helping me but helping the animals, helping you guys. That really means everything. It's been the greatest therapy, and that's really been the biggest turning point in my recovery. Thanks very much for that, Natasha, and always ask any other questions. Susan Mention asks, do you do all your cooking in your household? Yeah, I do all the cooking, but me and my wife tend to kind of vary it. Some days I'll do it, some days she'll do it. Like maybe we'll do breakfast together, lunch together, so we kind of swap it about, and we do all the, like I say, you also ask about washing up and things like that. We like to share every duty in the house. That is something we really feel that's important in a relationship. It should be give and take, and that's what we try and do. We do everything for each other, and that's how our relationship works. You've got to give and take. It's all about partnership and doing it for each other. And I feel some people say that's the kind of modern man type thing. I don't know, but it's just something we've always believed in, that we share the duties as a partnership, a relationship. Everything is give and take, and that's how you make a relationship work. So thanks very much, Susan. That's a really, really good question. Joyce Shannon asks, have you ever been to the US or another country? I've never been to the US, but I would love to go. I've actually done a lot of travelling before when I used to be a semi-professional footballer with Scotland. I went to Amsterdam, I went to Ostend in Belgium, I went to obviously England. I've been to Wolverhampton to visit my cousin. And obviously I've went to Australia, to Caboolture, Queensland in Australia, but that was when I was really, really ill, just shortly after my mum died. And when I come off the plane, I actually had a massive heart attack, and I was taken to hospital, and that's when my diagnosis of eating disorder was actually diagnosed. And I was actually in a potassium coma for 3 months at that point. So I have done some travelling, but not in the past roughly 16 years. So that's something I really want to do an awful lot. I'm actually going to Vienna in January or February next year to visit vegan friends and do a lot of vegan shopping and going around the restaurants and things. I want to start doing as much because I've lost out so much with my eating disorder over the years. So thanks very much for that. But the US is definitely a big one I would love to see. You also say that you would love to come to Scotland one day. Yeah, that would be absolutely great. But basically make sure you want to be coming roughly about August, September time, because that's when we start to get the kind of decent weather, because Scotland is really, really bad for rain and things like that, obviously. Thanks very much for that, Joyce. That's a really, really great one. My dear friend Kirsty Marsden, who I can't thank enough, she's a great support, a lovely, lovely girl. She asks, if you could visit one place in the world, where would you go? Well, like I say, I'm going to Vienna in January, but I'd love to go to the US one day. I'd love to California, New York, or Las Vegas. That would be my real great place I would really love to go. And obviously I'd love to go back to Australia one day. That's a real big passion. See my family and obviously visit my friend Jessica, Australia as well. That's something I would really like to do. Like I say, the US is a great place. Like I say, doing the Las Vegas Strip and things like that. Going down California's got some great beaches and things like that. Los Angeles, that would be a real great thing. Obviously visiting the places like Elvis Presley sang in Las Vegas and that. I'd love to visit Memphis, Tennessee to Graceland and things like that. That'd be a dream come true to me. Why did you want to become vegan? Well, I'd wanted to become vegan for years and years and years, but obviously I was prevented by my eating disorder recovery team because a lot of people do use it as a mask for their eating disorder. But I really wanted to become vegan, obviously for the benefit of the animals, because I love my animals so much. And working in an abattoir years and years ago, I seen the cruelty that's inflicted in the animals, and it really, really made me sick. And I spoke out about this in the videos that I've done about my working in an abattoir, and that is one thing that really, really wanted me to make me go vegan. And like I say, knowing what I'm doing is not only benefiting my body, but helping the animals and the planet as well. That's been a real inspiration to me. You also ask, what advice would you give to someone with an eating disorder? Well, the first thing I would say is don't suffer in silence. Speak out. Speak out to anybody you can trust, whether it be a family member, a friend. Go online to the Beat in the UK. There's also NEDA, which is the National Eating Disorder Association. Anything that you can speak to, but please speak out. Early detection is vital. Like I say, the quicker you speak out, the quicker you get treated, and the quicker that you can actually recover and make a full recovery. Because I don't want people going through the issues that I have, damage done to your organs and things like that. Just speak out, please. Recovery is possible. Don't worry about what people think. That is one thing that eating disorders thrive on, is secrecy. They want you to hold in that eating disorder thoughts and suffer away in silence. People won't think any less of you. You're a lovely, lovely person. You don't deserve to live with an eating disorder. Your eating disorder is not your identity. You can recover, but please speak out. That is the biggest step. That is the biggest step in recovering, is actually speaking out, realising you have an eating disorder. So that's a great question. Thanks very much, Kirsty. Obnoxious Guy asks, how did you become vegan? Well, like I say, I'd wanted to become vegan for many, many years, but obviously I was prevented with my eating disorder team because a lot of people do use it as a mask for their eating disorder. I became vegan in January this year after my recent relapse and my father passing away. He had a massive stroke and heart attack, and we'd been looking after him for a long, long time. And I've spoke about this in all my videos. If you look out these videos of my eating disorder, part 1, part 2 and part 3, you'll see that about all my past history with my eating disorder and my relapses with my wife when she suffered with ovarian cancer, and obviously with my first heart attack and my second heart attack, and when I come off the plane at Australia in the year 2000 and things. But I became vegan because I'd wanted to for a long, long time, obviously working in an abattoir way back when I was a semi-professional footballer in 1997, seeing the kind of inflicted pain and suffering and the way they treated the animals and things like that. And basically knowing what I was doing by going vegan was not only benefiting my body, but benefiting the animals as well. That was the biggest part of me going vegan. And it's taken away all those eating disorder thoughts. Like I say, the eating disorder thoughts thrives in calories, and obviously all about the eating disorder. But becoming vegan, that part, knowing what you're doing, is not only benefiting yourself, but benefiting the animals. It takes away all these eating disorder thoughts. So thanks very much, Obnoxious Guy, and I hope you can check out those videos that I've got, and that'll explain a lot more in depth about my things that I've in the past. Scatterlam asks, I was wondering a few things. Have you ever gone through binging and pudging through your eating disorder journey? Yeah, I've actually suffered a subtype of all eating disorders. I used to make myself sick, binging and pudging. I used laxatives and things like that. You'll actually see this all in my eating disorder videos. Like I say, when I was deep in my eating disorder, when my mum first passed in 1997, when it first started, I'd done a lot of things when I was over in Australia. I would constantly eat food, make myself sick. I've went through a lot of laxative abuse and things like that, which I worry about saying on videos and things because I know it can trigger a lot of people. And like I say, I suffer the worst type of eating disorders. I suffer anorexia, binge purge type, obviously over-exercise and things like that. And I've suffered all that. And if you would like me to go into a video about that at some point, I will do. Number 2, veganism doesn't allow any animal products. She was wondering why milk isn't okay. Not meaning to sound stupid or rude, just wondering. Well, milk and things like that, obviously, that is dairy. So basically, that's mistreating the animals and things like that. So even honey and things like that, anything that's abusing the animals is not really allowed in veganism, but you can get a lot of milk substitutes. Obviously your almond milk, rice milk, oat milk, many others. There's a lot of milks out now. Obviously you've got it eliminates things like cheese and things like that, but you've got vegan cheese now. You've got obviously your vegan yogurts, vegan ice cream. There's nothing you can miss out on, but the real reason for that is obviously the mistreatment of the animals. That's why you don't allow milk, because it's dairy. That is the reason why. So anything like eggs, milk, cheese, anything that's made from dairy products. Obviously, how are you doing, Shas? Well, yeah, I'm doing great, thanks very much. I'm recovering well. As you can see, I'm gaining 0.5 to kilograms a week, which is set by my eating disorder team, and I feel absolutely great. I'm just not all the love for you guys means the world to me, and I can't thank you enough. And thanks very much, it means the world to me. Thanks very much for that, Scatalamas. Susan Mencher also asks one last question. To add on to her question, do you think it would aid or hinder your recovery if someone else planned or cooked your meals? That's a great question actually, because some people really need that, somebody to actually take over their meal planning and obviously their meals, to make sure they're getting in the right amount of calories in recovery, because they find that the meal prepping and things like that can really hinder their eating disorder. But for me, I feel actually having somebody take over my meals and do all that for me would hinder my recovery, because I feel you've got to really get a good relationship with your food, and that means protein, fats and carbs, doing all your food prepping, getting that good relationship with food. That's been the biggest part for me, and I feel that if I wasn't to be doing that, it would really hinder my recovery, because like I say, you want to be getting into food prepping, enjoying your food cooking and things like that. And that's been a real part for my recovery. So that's a really great question, Susan. Thanks for that. RAS Gaming asks, what's my best YouTube moment? Well, my best YouTube moment would have to be the very first video I made a way back a year ago, when I come onto YouTube and made my eating disorder recovery video, speaking out about what had happened with my eating disorder and things like that. Obviously, when suffering my first heart attack coming off the plane in the year 2000, when I had suffered with my mum passing in 1997, and then obviously the relapses with my wife suffering ovarian cancer and her 4 miscarriages and things. That was the biggest part for me, because I only ever come onto YouTube just to make that first video. I didn't think it would get any kind of recognition at all. I hoped even if it reached one person and helped one person, that would mean everything to me. And it did, and it's grown my YouTube channel massively. If you check out this video below, I'll actually, you'll see it a way back, the very first video I ever made. If you check through all my videos, I can link that below for you if you want. So thanks very much for that. That is a really great question, and thanks to everybody for every question that you've answered today. It means a lot. And like I say, binge on life, purge negativity and starve guilty feelings. And if you want any more questions, I'll put out another video for next week. But thanks very much, guys, and sending you all my love. Remember, guys, binge on life, purge negativity and starve guilty feelings. Speak to you all soon, and love you so much.